Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here, and we are in the garden level studio at the Holman House today. Not quite yet out at the airport, which is where our new studios will be at the Lansing Region International Airport. Going to be there probably next week. And I know we've said that a couple of weeks in a row, but we will be, I promise. Right now, we're going to the UP, right? And what quicker way than the airwaves, even faster than the airlines. Spent a little time with Christopher Germain. He's the CEO of the Lake Superior Community Partnership. And Christopher, it might not be a bad idea to just kind of reiterate what exactly the Lake Superior Community Partnership is.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. So the Lake Superior Community Partnership, or LSCP for short, because our name is a mouthful, like most EDOs. We are 25 years old. We've established ourselves as the leading economic voice here in Marquette County on economic development issues. We also serve a dual purpose, though, similar to some other EDOs, in that we also are the chamber for the city of Marquette and its surrounding areas as well. So,
all right. So you have multiple hats then, right?
I sure do. That's only two of them. Let me tell you. So.
Well, maybe we can get into all those hats before we get off here. Let's talk a little bit about how the summer went, because I know a lot of the economic development up there is kind of based on tourism. People rediscovering how beautiful the Upper Peninsula is.
Absolutely. It's tourism is a big part of our economy, as you mentioned, and we had a relatively quiet yet busy year. And I know that sounds oxymoronic. Our hotels were pretty full. We have always new events coming on board. What we actually saw is a return to closer to 2019 levels in terms of tourism, which for folks who live here is a little bit of a relief. We grew very, very quickly. As you mentioned, a lot of people are discovering the UP. We have been fortunate to not have some of the challenges that other areas of the region have had with over tourism, but our hotels are still filling up even all year, not even just the summer, right? So if people are thinking about the UP 200 in February, you better get those hotel rooms right now.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, you've got a great season coming up. I mean, Winter Wonderland up there. If you can get across that bridge before they close it, I mean, it's a wonderful place to be, right?
It really is. And honestly, if you get up here, you just might end up spending a couple of extra days here because you can't get out. And that's okay. Like, we'll have the hotel rooms and the food and the beer for you too.
Well, we have found that that's one of the best things that can happen to you is
absolutely
there for some extra days. Let's talk a little bit about your partnership. Is it primarily Marquette oriented?
Yeah, so we cover the entirety of Marquette County. We also have partnerships with Baraga County and Dickinson County. So we operate on a shared services model. I believe we're one of the only EDOs in the state that does that. I think the other one might be down in Southwest Michigan. But we actually work directly with the executive director in Dickinson, and we actually provide all of the economic development services to Baraga through contracts.
Absolutely. Perfect stuff. All right. Now let's talk about projects that are going on up there, because you also have a pretty healthy manufacturing area. You have mining, you have a number of other industries. How is that going?
Well, now that we have the only operating nickel mine in North America in our backyard here in Marquette County, we're more popular than ever, right? As EVs come about, especially with the federal incentives and policies that were passed earlier this fall. So we're still digesting all of that. We also have a number of other really great projects happening. There's two I always like to talk about. One is a childcare business incubator pilot that we're doing. So we are actually partnering with our community foundation, our Great Start to Quality, and our educational services agencies up here to help build in-home childcare provider slots. A lot of the work around childcare has been done in larger facilities or around wage and training issues. But what we've discovered in places like that are as rural as Marquette County is we need even those 8 or 9 slots in a home that happen in those rural areas. So people don't have to drive into the cities to drop their kids off for childcare and then to just go work at the mines or wherever else they go. So that's been a really exciting project for us. And the other big news up here, of course, is a successful securing of money to demolish the old Marquette General Hospital. And all the credit for that goes to our partners at the Northern Michigan Foundation. It's a really incredible collaborative project that they're doing, but that's a once in a lifetime, probably, opportunity to basically develop an entirely new neighborhood. And so a site that would have sat vacant for years, I think in most communities, only sat vacant for a couple of years here because we have this whole collaborative attitude that is really pushing us forward up here.
Well, and people don't realize that not only the cost, but what that does to a community when you have a business or a building that is slowly decaying, and that's kind of the semi-face of, the attitude, which is not good
Yeah.
too.
Absolutely, and that number kept going up too, Chris, right? It was up to $22 million before they secured how much they needed to demo that hospital. So.
Yeah, I bet that's true. So let's talk a little bit about some other things that are going on in Marquette. How's the downtown district going? I mean, the last time I was up there, that was so vibrant. It was wonderful.
It still is. As a matter of fact, we just had our trick-or-treating event down here, which we were not the DDA. Obviously, they run it, but I will tell you, everybody ran out of candy, if that gives you an idea of how much nice of a day it was. There's a number of projects that are happening in the downtown as well. They're mostly in early planning stages, but for folks who haven't been to the downtown in a few years, next time you come visit, you're going to notice some big differences, and that's going to continue to happen for, I imagine, at least the next decade or so as it moves into its next phase of evolution.
Well, I can tell you, as someone who has been up there, that you are absolutely right. If you haven't been there, you should have been by now, because it's really a vibrant city. It is. Christopher Germain, CEO of the Lake Superior Community Partnership in Marquette, Michigan. Thanks for joining us and keeping an eye on the top of the world for us, eh?
Absolutely, Chris. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
My pleasure. You've been watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. And Chris Holman will be back with more.